You and I have unfinished business.
Oh? And what's so stinking about it?
Non mi piace il feeling. Spero to start. I think this just might be my masterpiece.
This is blood for blood and by the gallons. These are the old days, the bad days, the all or nothing days. They're back. There's no choices left, and I'm ready for war.
Wow, that sounds pretty hardcore. This is Blood for Blood and by the gallons. There are old days, man. The bad days are all nothing days. They're back. No choices left. Man, I get like a Mad Max vibe kind of off of that.
That is incorrect, my friend. This is a pretty popular movie. I'm double checking because I think. Let me see. No, I guess we didn't. I thought we did it on the podcast, but I guess we haven't.
Who's in it?
Everybody. I mean, I'm not.
El Mariachi.
Let's see. If I could name, Clive Owen is in it. Benicio del Toro's in it. Brittany Murphy's in it.
It's not Traffic.
No. Devin Oakey's in it.
What era?
Bruce Willis is in it.
So this is like one of those Rodriguez films?
Michael Clark Duncan is in it.
Armageddon.
Michael Madsen is in it.
Oh, I'm lost now.
Jessica Alba is in it.
Is Sin City?
There you go.
But,
Jesus Christ, you made me name the whole cast.
We didn't do that on the podcast?
I thought we did, but I looked back at the reviews I did, and neither one of them say that they're for the podcast unless it was before I started saying they were all for the podcast.
I think I did that with my other movie friend. And so I wrote a special review for Sin City, maybe. That's weird. I thought we might have talked about that because there was definitely some differences in the version I watched because it was episodic. So
Episodic? What the hell?
yeah, it was broken into chapters like a Tarantino deal. Anyways, welcome to the Average Joe's Movie Clipcast. Justin.
And I'm Joey.
March has arrived and there is madness in the air, and tonight that comes in the form of a panic attack as we're inducing Uncut Gems talk on you guys from the Safdie brothers. That was a 2019 film starring Adam Sandler. Plus, here's looking at you, kid, as we dip into two of Joey's favorite things with some noir style and bogey. And all the time with this all-time classic Best Picture winner Casablanca from 1942.
All right, so just a heads up, two things. So our normal heads up, we are going to discuss everything in full. So if you don't want spoilers, please go ahead and skip to the end, or come back later. Also, if you haven't seen Casablanca in the year of our Lord 20 and 25, please press pause, go watch that, and come back. Also, I am fucking spicy tonight. I've had a very bad day. I have been really stressed out a bunch lately. So to both everybody listening and to Justin, I apologize in advance. Just gonna throw that out there.
Okay.
Just saying, if I seem fired up or harsh or angry, that might be why.
Okay. And make sure to spread the word about the Average Joe's Movie Clipcast. If you like listening to us banter about life, movies, and such, yeah, like and subscribe. Ask us a question. We'd appreciate it. So, how's life? Oh, you said it could be better, huh?
I mean, yes. I think the last time we were we were here. I just wrecked my car, so I do have a new car. It's an old car, but it's new to me, so that is a plus. But everything else, for the most part, is pretty trash. Big trash fire, kind of like how Myrtle Beach has been on fire, or Cali before. Yeah, it's just on fire. Everything's on fire, and I'm just kind of sitting there, like, okay, this is fine. This is fine. Um, so yeah, that's about it. Just trying to live.
Damn.
Yeah, that's what I got for you, fam.
Mine seems so insignificant compared to your life struggles.
I mean,
Um,
it is what it is, brother. Like you've got two incomes, and both of them are better than my one income, so that helps a lot. And you've got
yeah.
different stresses and things that come along with having a marriage and three children, especially boys all around the same age. So
Yeah, it was a
it's
long
it's
day.
different stresses.
Had about a hour's worth of traffic as I headed to work and had to be there for a little while and hit the gym and got some work done and made dinner and had scouts and now we're here. So yeah, it's been kind of a haul and the last couple of days been kind of hitting the dieting pretty hard since Christina's not around. So we'll see how that goes because how it normally it's kind of a 3 day kind of yo-yo effect where like I'll diet for like 3 days and then I'll kind of sort of eat normal while the wife's around. So then like I jump up a little again, or then I'll have a cheat night with a little bit of alcohol or something. Then I'll jump up. But like I'm kind of bouncing in a range, so hoping to get that down at least another 10 pounds, and then try to sustain from there. So that's kind of a weird balance I've been working with, but trying hard at. So, and then slowly quitting scouts. Keep showing up for them and running these events, but that's coming to an end, so that'll be good. One less thing I have to worry about. And yeah, trying to focus harder on work. Things with the Trump administration, like very stressful for government employees and such. So things are pretty stressful on the work front. So yeah, but yeah, trying to make sure representing well there. So, but it's a little peek into life. How about some movies?
Hell yeah, let's do some movies.
All right, as usual, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So, small time. Oh no, smile. Time for torture. Hell can be fun too, and I must break you.
I think I know exactly what two of those are. I 100% know what one of them is. 100%. Mine are Animation Journey, ScarJo, and I Must Ask You.
Huh, that's kind of funny how ours are a little reflective there. So, is Animation Journey this going to be this Lord of the Ring thing?
Is that I assume that means you're just picking that?
Yes.
Well, yes, but not just that.
Okay.
So I decided that I wanted to watch more animated movies this year, which is part of the reason that we did Mononoke, and I decided that I was going to give myself a goal of 20 animated movies for the year. So I've watched a couple recently. I watched the new Lord of the Rings: War of the Rohirrim that came out in December of last year. Um, Fantastic. It was very well drawn. It is a prequel. You're not going to see really any characters that you're going to know from like Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit. Um, Outside of Eowyn, she's the narrator. And they do make a couple of tie-ins to like the books. Good animation, good story. It is about Helm Hammerhead when he was the king of Rohan, and his three sons, and the main character is his daughter Hera, and how Helm's Deep became Helm's Deep. So it was a lot of fun. It's on Max, so I think if you like Lord of the Rings or fantasy, that kind of stuff, you should check it out. It was worth watching. The other one was Inside Out 2.
Okay.
Now I love Inside Out 1. Saw it in theater. Thought Inside Out 1. I think it's one of the best Disney animated movies.
Yeah.
Period. Hard stop. This movie is not that movie, and that doesn't mean that it's bad. It just there's a lot of room to not be as good as one of the best and still be pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought it was enjoyable. I don't think that I was, obviously besides being an adult, the target audience, like as someone who doesn't really suffer from, say, like anxiety, and that is kind of the main theme of this movie is anxiety.
Kind of, sort of.
Yeah. So, but I still thought it was very well done. Of course, great voice acting. And it was a fun story. Had some hockey and stuff in it. It was pretty cool. And I definitely think that if you like Disney, or you like the first one, you should check it out.
As someone who actually knew what like ennui was like coming into it, then like simplifying it to boredom is like, hey, shut up. It's not just that.
I mean, sometimes you got to simplify things, but
well, hell yeah, on a kids movie, yeah. But it's funny how yeah, essentially that's what it is. But yeah, like if you watch these crazy Italian films, it gets all into that a lot more. All right, so which one of my movies you want to hear about?
I'm gonna pick the one that I'm not sure about first, and I'm trying to think, but yeah, let's go with Hell Can Be Fun Too.
All right, so like, been mostly just watching comedies in my downtime, and been trying to get through all the Adam Sandler ones that I haven't revisited. So, I finally got to Little Nicky. I think I saw this in the theater when it first came out, and just was never in a hurry to see it because it's one of those ones where he's like more like acting kind of like off. Like I kind of prefer the one besides the Water Boy. I kind of prefer the ones where he's being like more savvy. But Little Nicky's not bad. It's pretty sweet, pretty good cast, as he is like one of Satan's kids, going after his brothers in the real world, before his dad like deteriorates or whatever. Pretty funny comedy. Yeah, it'd been a long time since I'd seen Little Nicky, but yeah, I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected to. Hell can be a lot of fun too. All right, ScarJo. Never a bad time to go to ScarJo.
I concur. It is never a bad time to go to ScarJo. So, another kind of cheater pick. It's two. I watched Vicky Cristina Barcelona, and He's Just Not That Into You. I actually watched that one last night. So Vicky Cristina Barcelona, is an interesting movie. I enjoyed it. It's a great cast with Javier Bardem and Scarlett Johansson and Rebecca Hall, Penelope Cruz. Like, it is chock full of just great actors. It is a movie where like a lot happens, but nothing happens. Obviously in your action sense, it's a romantic drama, I guess. I don't even really want to say dramedy, just like a romantic drama. It had a narrator, which at first kind of threw me, and I didn't think I was going to like, but as the movie went on, I kind of appreciated that. Had something like good, because it's set mostly in Barcelona and then in another like Spanish town. So that was kind of fun, just, different settings and whatever. Thought it was a fun time. And then He's Just Not That Into You. It's, one of those movies that were popular where they put literally 500 people in it, and tell all these interwoven storylines, kind of like Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I saw that with Christina back in the day.
Yeah, so it's got just a crazy cast. You've got three Jennifers: Jennifer Goodwin, Jennifer Aniston, Jennifer Connelly, Ben Affleck, who's with Jennifer Aniston, and like I said in my review, him being with a Jennifer seems to be on brand for him. Of course, Scarlett Johansson's in it. Bussy Phillips is in it. Justin Long is in it. Um, Bradley Cooper, and it's just a bunch of like single and married people's intermingled lives and their relationships, and it's definitely like a rom dramedy. If that's what you're looking for, it's a fine movie. Um, if you're not looking for that, you probably wouldn't enjoy it, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun time.
All right. Where are we going next?
All right, we're gonna take the one that I think I know what it is, and by think I'm 98.9% sure. Let's go with Smile Time for Torture.
All right, so my nephew came by and he was helping me take down the Christmas lights finally, and he's just like, "All right, Uncle Justin, I'm coming over later and we're watching this Terrifier movie." I was like, "All right, whatever." He's like, "The kids are not allowed to watch it," and then they're like, "We'll watch it." So yeah, we all got together to watch this Terrifier thing, and
So
like,
hold up. How did Christina feel about that?
Christina doesn't know, you know.
Boy, you must really be certain she don't listen to this podcast.
Pretty certain. Anywho, yeah. So we watched this this Terrifier movie. Have you seen this one?
Yes, unfortunately.
So it's been a long time since I got into the whole cringe horror factor, and this movie definitely pushes the envelope on that. I was not in never really been in the mood for like torture kind of stuff. Although I thought this one was a little clever with it in terms of like how he kind of acted goofy and smiley, and then like right as it was like getting so gross that you don't want to watch anymore, like became like obviously fake, like B horror kind of style. So I was like, ugh, a little bit of reprieve. So I thought it kind of balanced that line pretty well and tested my nerves just enough. Apparently, the sequel's like over 2 hours, and I'm like, no, thank you. I think I've had enough Terrifier. But for what it was worth, I thought it was somewhat well done.
So I watched this a long time ago. I watched it in my old apartment. Um, Probably I guess we watched it. I don't even know what the fuck we watched it on. We might have borrowed it from Johnny. I don't know how we watched it, but I was still living with Rin. We may or may not have already started the podcast. I can't remember. But me, Ren, and Carl sat there and watched it, and all of us were just like, yo, what in the fuck are we watching? This is the dumbest shit ever. So, and like Carl's a horror guy, and I mean, he liked it a little bit more than me and Ren, I think, but still, all of us were like, nah, this is pretty fucking dumb. So, yeah, I have not went back to watch it as I have no desire to rewatch it, and I have no desire to watch the sequels.
Fair.
So,
All right. What's your last one?
I must ask you a simple favor. So this one that had been on my watch list for a while, cause well, Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively, mainly
Oh
Anna
yeah,
Kendrick.
that was a clever little mystery film, right?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very well done. Normally I like how I judge that these are good, like those kind of movies are good, is when I don't want to figure out what's happening. Like I just let it happen.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed it. Again, I'm an Anna Kendrick mark. I think most people know that, so that's not a big surprise. But I definitely thought it was worth watching. And now that there's going to be a sequel, I don't even know how in the fuck that's going to work. But yeah, no, if you're looking for something like a not sure what's going on kind of deal, yeah, definitely give A Simple Favor a shot.
All right, my last one. I must break you. So we were in Myrtle Beach a few weeks ago and saw an Ivan Drago pop. So I was like, gotta have that. And recently been really into bodybuilding and like trying to model myself off the great Russian fighter or whatever from the Rocky Four. I was like, hey boys, so we need to crank out this movie because that was my first Rocky movie, Rocky Four, and I just think it's a goofy, fun time. but we purchased the um like the director's cut version off of Prime because I didn't want to go overly goofy with it, but that movie's that version's almost too serious. I mean, they're all great, but yeah, for some reason the boys weren't getting into it as much as I would have liked. But I had a great time with it as always. Yeah, it's a lot more dramatic with the director's cut version, and surprisingly still the same delightful length and very campy. Listen to those songs quite often in the gym, so definitely needed to revisit Rocky Four.
Well, first off, and I left this comment on your letterbox, and I guess you kind of explained it, but still, first of all, how the fuck you start with four? Why? Just
The,
because you started with
the
four,
majority of this movie is just flashing back to the other movies for like
but you
25% of it. So you get to see it catches you up. Definitely.
But that's not the same. You don't start at four. That's like cutting the middle of a cake out, cutting a square in the middle of the cake or a pie instead of cutting pieces. Also, I would suspect that maybe kids, the Gen Alpha kids, are probably not going to be into boxing because boxing is basically dead. It's all about like MMA and shit.
Yeah.
But definitely, if they don't have any reason to care about Apollo Creed. They don't have any reason to care about Rocky. They don't have the built-in reason of hating Russia to hate Ivan Drago, even though I guess they should.
I
But
think you're giving them way too much credit for how much they get invested in movies, but we'll
I'm
see.
saying that's the things. Those are the things that people would have been invested in for those movies. Hating Russia in the '80s was a thing. Like and
Not wrong.
knowing the storyline is important. So like I'm not surprised that they weren't into it as much as you hoped they were. Is what I'm saying. Also starting in 4. The fuck is wrong with you?
All right. Agree to disagree. Feature movie 1, Uncut Gems, is a
It's the first of many
2019
times tonight, probably.
American crime thriller directed by the Safdie brothers, who apparently don't make movies together anymore as of last year. Which, have you heard of Good Time, the one they did with Robert Pattinson?
Maybe.
Okay.
I off the top of my head, no, but it's possible that I've seen it or some not watched it, but have seen a poster or something.
It stars Adam Sandler, Lakeith Stanfield, Julia Fox, Kevin Garnett, and Ida Menzel. Uncut Jim tells the story of Howard Ratner, a Jewish American jeweler and gambling addict in New York City's Diamond District, who must retrieve an expensive gem purchased in order to pay off his debts. A couple fun facts about this movie. The film was inspired by the Safdie brothers' father's time working as a salesman runner for a man named Howard in Manhattan's Diamond District. The Safdie brothers and their father are also Jewish and avid basketball fans. Adam Sandler wore false teeth and fake dark mole on his right cheek for the role. Sandler's wife was convinced him to take the role after reading the screenplay and watching Good Time. Adam Sandler, his base salary for acting usually is $20 million, but this film's entire budget was $19. And then KG was cast as the NBA star only after The Weeknd was cast in the film as himself. The Safdies looked for NBA players who were active at the time that The Weeknd was a public person performing shows in New York City in 2012. Oh, I see. All right, so anything to say off the bat?
I think it's cool that they intentionally got like a star, an NBA player, for it to be accurate with the time that The Weeknd was performing. Julia Fox is fucking fine.
Howie?
Huh?
Howie.
Yeah, Howie. You can't be buried with me anymore. I mean, yeah, I guess I'll just let you go through it, and
Okay.
we'll just kind of go through it because I have thoughts about this movie.
Sure. The first two times I saw Uncut Gems, it was right when it came out, Um, and I'd watch it back to back days. Like I watched it on New Year's Eve and was blown away by it, and then wanted to share it with my family. And my dad just like, hey, there's a lot of cussing in this movie, and they didn't really seem like they were into it like I was. But it's kind of artsy in its ways, so I guess such as it is. But it's kind of funny that I watched it back to back days in 2 different years. So, haha. Um, the movie starts in this chaos, uproar in an Ethiopian mine where um, they're showing like I guess basically the chaos that went into obtaining this opal, and then it goes into this trippy electronic music, which is very different. But I kind of have a soft spot for that kind of weird music. What say you?
Um, about the music.
Yeah, the weird like 80s style like synth shit.
I mean, I like some synth music, surprisingly, but I don't really remember that at the beginning. I remember the dude's fucking like shattered leg and blood everywhere, but
Hmm.
I don't really remember the music too much in the I guess the transition scene from looking at the opal to looking at Homeboy's colon.
Yep. Yep, that flicking back through it, that's a funny transition to go from a mind to an ass, because our character is a serious ass. Uh, Um, I could see how you could hate or be annoyed by Howard, but I find him fascinating with his constant scheming and manipulating and being a bitch all at the same time.
Being the world's dumbest motherfucker. He's almost as dumb as motherfuckers in horror movies. He's so fucking stupid. Holy shit. And an asshole on top of that. Just holy shit.
Did so him
I,
being
I don't
Sandler didn't help you at all?
know. Like, no. That just like he performed fine. There was nothing was wrong with his performance. I wasn't like, oh my god, he's a comedic actor in a dramatic role. Like, no. I guess actually he did really well because I despise his character. But part of
Yeah.
the reason I despise his character is because he was written to be the biggest, dumbest piece of shit I have ever fucking seen. Like,
That kind of reminds me whenever I introduced all that jazz to you, and I really hated the character the first time. So interesting.
like, like multiple times throughout this movie, he had the money to pay the fucking debt to get the fucking gangsters off his back. And I get that gambling is an addiction and you can be a degenerate gambler, but he had the money and did these fucking ridiculous, stupid schemes that were always putting his life on the line. How the fuck he wasn't dead previous to this movie, I don't fucking know.
Because yeah, his like assistant wants to quit because the assistant who brings him the box full of fish, but the opal's in the fish, which is pretty bizarre how they needed to hide it like that. God, it's like a ping pong of a movie as you're bouncing between him getting shook down at his shop, giving the young hot girlfriend a hard time, and which she seems to be really into him being a piece of shit. Um, not to forget, okay, so he visits his bookie, who is like this restaurant manager, which is kind of strange, but yeah, he's like, you know, ch charging in on this restaurant all the time in order to change these bets and make these ridiculous bets. I've always been a KG fan. He's from Greenville, South Carolina. We're South Carolina guys, so there's a little connection there. Plus, he got drafted to the Timberwolves, and then I was real happy. I was actually working for the TV station whenever he was with the Celtics and won the championship. I was pretty happy about that. So, KG?
KG was great. I totally believe that he was that characterized version of Kevin Garnett. 100% believable. KG did great.
Lakeith Stanfield?
Huh?
The Howard's partner that brought him KG is played by Lakeith Stanfield.
Oh, his name starts Damani.
That sounds right.
Yeah, he was good. Like, there's no problem with acting in this movie. The acting is probably the best part of this movie. it's that the main character is not likable. I don't know how you're fascinated with him. He's not likable in any way. He's the biggest piece of shit. He's cheating on his hot ass fucking wife with a younger, hotter girl. Maybe not hotter, but a younger girl who's also really hot. But he treats her like shit.
Yeah.
He's dumb as fuck. Like, there's nothing redeemable about him. He's just fucking stupid. He's a weasel. He's a liar. He's just the literal fucking worst.
How about that Furby charm? A little nostalgia there, but who the fuck
That was terrifying.
will wear that? It's interesting how dismissive Howard is to pretty much everything, but is, constantly trying to talk people into other stuff. Like those, it's like a guy and like he brought his brother with him and like Howard owes him money, so he slings this fake watch at him and he's like, they're constantly like following him around and he's like, after he gives him the watch, he acts like he doesn't even know him and he's awful. They had the opal packed in a Fitch. KG loves it. I've actually broke through a display case glass before at a fair one time. So, yeah, it was kind of interesting how he's like gazing into this rock, and then the quite the hard transition with the glass breaking. Showstopper. So yeah, they hang on to the rock in exchange for the Celtics ring, which he immediately runs down to the pawn shop to pawn so he could have a little bit of money in order to come up with his crazy parlay bet. Oh, let's see, the asshole ignored. So like he goes home and of course since he made this huge bet, he wants to, watch the game and like his wife's like, hey, you need to go like lay with your son as he goes to bed. And like apparently he ignores her for like a half hour before he ever goes up and just, continues watching the games. Like, you idiot. Just to do that in the first place, why do you have to piss people off? His older son's
Trash.
His older son seems kind of like him. He's into basketball. He's asking him about the betting and stuff. And, like, yeah, you don't want to know. And, like, chip off the old block there, it seems. His wife is over Howard, but has allowed him to keep stringing her along, with, like, holidays and stuff, which for some strange part, Howard does seem to keep family sacred to an extent. Anyway. His bet was correct, and he goes to celebrate with a sexy girlfriend. Hides in her closet. Pretty kind of a pretty creepy behavior there. Let's see. The action house is another person he's bouncing off of as they're down his throat about getting the opal. The older guy with the twin. Well, okay, we already talked about them. He drives all the way to Philly to go get the opal, but then gets ditched at the facility and has to take a bus home. Come on, you got to take a little joy in the fact that he had that. You enjoy his misery at all?
I mean, it's a fucking bus, dude. Like, it's not the end of the world.
I don't know.
He deserved it.
Yeah, but you don't think okay, you deserved it, but you don't think it's okay. I think it's amusing that you drive all the way across the city just to get something that you're not going to get, and then you have to sit on a bus and fucking think about it the whole time. Not fun, at least for me. But I'm a self-conscious prick, so what are you going to do? He joins his family to see his daughters play, which the So obviously they're kind of causing a scene, so they go out and he runs from them and they take his clothes and lock him in the trunk so that his wife has to bail him out yet again. Finds out he gets screwed by the thugs canceling the bet, so that didn't turn out.
And right here,
okay.
if at any point up to this point, them coming to his shop at the beginning, slapping him around, taking his watch and shit, that didn't teach him. Right here, they showed up at a family function took his clothes, and left him naked in his trunk. If this this should have been the end. He should when he got the fucking money from KG, it should nothing this should have been it. He should have fucking known. Not only after this, they fucking like punk him and fucking throw him in like a fucking fountain in the middle of the street. Like this guy, holy fuck. He is on the level of, oh my god, we went in this basement. There's a bunch of dead cats hanging everywhere, and here's a book made of flesh wrapped in barbed wire that says, do not read. Let's fucking read it. That is how dumb this guy is.
After getting home, he goes out yet again. So since he really does not give a shit about his family, but he goes on and on about how wonderful his daughter's performance is, and she's like, yeah, whatever, we know you don't care.
He was also supposed to be going to meet Damani to get the opal because he said he had the opal, that he had gotten it from KG, and was to meet him. They were going to meet at the weekend's thing.
Okay. I'd forgotten that detail.
I think he was still going to that anyway, but that is part of the reason he was there.
Okay. And then the weekend's flirting with his girl. He catches him, and then he totally flips out at her, even though she didn't do anything. So pretty shitty to see all that go down with him kicking her out of the apartment and being a bitch. Let's see. Since she does not move out, let's see. Oh, yeah, it's fucking crazy that how into him she still is with getting his name tattooed on her ass. Foreshadow with the issue with the showroom door, because KG goes to the showroom to do the exchange. KG wants to buy the stone, but Howard wants to jack up the price at the auction. Very shitty. His connection gets pissed with his stash of watches is depleted. So yeah, he's all mad that they don't have the watches out on the showroom floor to sell or whatever, and instead he's hawking them on the side. And so he
said they were fake rollies, and he gave somebody a fake rollie. So yeah,
and so he kills his fish, which more shit he deserves. He fucking flips out of his girlfriend and spills smoothie all over her. What a fucking asshole. Howard and his family go to this Passover gathering. We find out that one of the thugs is married into his family.
Well, it's the guy he owes the money to that the thugs are working for. Arno.
Arno, yep. Talks up the opal to his family. While his wife charms him with an old dress, he's reminded of his love for her, breaks down a little bit, but she fucking really lets him have it with how much she hates him.
I don't think he's reminded of his love for her. I think that he has broken up with his girlfriend Julia.
Oh, this is a rebound thing with his wife.
And he just doesn't want to be alone or not getting it.
Okay,
so he's like, I'm going to go from having 1.5, 2 women to none, and he is trying to be the fucking snake and schemer that he is.
Yep. Yeah, I can buy that as well. He stops at his apartment, which exposes his kid to the fact that he's cheating on her, his mom. Auction day comes, and he hates the devalued appraisal that he's given, since he's anyways, he's delusional about everything. His family shows up to meet KG, but then he strings him into this auction scheme. They jack up the price too much and get stuck with the stone, so then they have to make a deal afterwards. The thugs then hit Howard in the throat, break his nose, and throw him in the fountain, which should be his lowest point. Oh man, yeah, he looks totally miserable in that moment. It's quite stunning to watch, I suppose. I don't know. He goes blubbering to his girlfriend, which is charmed by his baby nature all of a sudden somehow.
That more like they work together. He went in and hid in his office, and she comes in and sees that he's fucked up and kind of starts taking care of him, and he kind of breaks down, which is probably some sort of manipulation coming from him, but also understandable with everything that is going on. So
yeah, for sure. I can't. Plenty of reasons for him to have let out a cry.
This is where she shows him the ass tattoo, and he's like, Oh, she can't even be buried with me now. And so like maybe he does actually love her. I don't really know. It's hard to me imagine that he cares for anyone other than himself.
It's probably the
But
case.
but that kind of line, if he's thinking about being buried with her, that is kind of at least there's some emotion, actual genuine emotional attachment. But
Hmm.
also then he had just kicked her out because he thought she did something with the weekend.
Yeah. KG comes to the shop and seals the deal for the Rock. While charming KG, he talks himself into this other crazy bet. So yeah, for some reason I remember like the first couple times I watched this being really enamored by the way he sets up like these additional bets towards the end and how he like talks to KG about what he's gonna do, and I don't know, that just something I guess got very wrapped up in it. Always talks to people like they are on his team and they're smart and he's smarter than everybody else because the mind of a gambler. Girlfriend gets a helicopter ride up to a casino to place the bet while Howard traps the thugs in his store.
Because of the lock. Because so they have to get into the jewelry, you have to be buzzed into like a small room, and then when the first door shuts, you have to be buzzed into the showroom. So they went to leave and were buzzed out, and then the thing the like a scraper or something like a metal tool he had jammed in there to make the connection
Hmm.
fell out, and instead of letting them out, he traps them in there
Yep.
for the duration of this Game 7 playoff. Also, I feel like the more times you've watched this and you know the outcome of the playoff game, if you don't remember it from when it happening, but if you know the outcome of the playoff game, that takes so much of the tension away from the end.
Huh. Okay.
Because
Yeah.
because if you know, like, first of all, it's a movie, you probably already can figure it out, but since they're trying, it is seemingly based off of reality. It's like, well, I'm pretty sure Boston wins this game, but I don't know. But when you know Boston wins, like, yeah, I feel like so much of the intrigue there at that end piece is just gone.
Huh. Yeah, I had no awareness of how the game would turn out. So, huh. Interesting perspective there. That kind of guess does sour things a bit. Captivating to watch Howard talk about the bet as it plays out in the game. Was I was kind of working and watching this on the side, so maybe that's the reason I didn't get sucked in as much. But I definitely remember enjoying it a lot more the first couple times I watched. Girlfriend is able to get the bet in and uses this rich guy to kind of hide out as the thugs try to track her down. Once Howard,
The one thug who was not trapped,
yeah,
who got sent out first. Yeah.
once Howard releases his thugs, he gets shot in the face and killed. So does Arno, strangely enough, because the guy's a total wacko at this point. Um, which is yeah, zooms up into the bullet wound to bookend, just like with the synthy music and the colors and stuff, and then before the
So
end credits roll.
so about the time we're getting close to the end of the game and you know that he's gonna win the bet, I was like, man, are they really gonna like let him not get killed and not have what's coming to him? And I feels like they were like going for this big fake out. And then, he gets shot in the face, and I was like, God damn it, thank you. He fucking holy shit, he had that fucking coming. And then Arno, Arno just wanted him roughed up a little bit. He didn't want him killed, he just wanted his money because this is his relative through marriage.
Hmm.
Well, he starts freaking out. He tries to escape, and then the thug shoots him. They start ripping the place off. Now, this last motherfucking scene, the CGI is fucking atrocious. I understand this was a low budget movie and this was 6 years ago, but goddamn, if you're gonna spend some of your budget on CGI, like on a scene that one lasted way the fuck too long, that was way too long of like a zoom in into the blood into the opal. Also, it was just fucking stupid. I get that they were going for something fucking artsy or whatever. Nah, it was fucking dumb. You could have just like showed him dead and went out, and it would have saved 2 to 3 minutes of everybody's lives and been just as effective, more effective, because it wouldn't have been so fucking stupid.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, like I said, I'm spicy tonight, and this movie I felt things about this movie.
Well, I definitely liked the movie more when it was more fresh. But I still think it's a fairly riveting watch with great acting and direction. But I'd go with a 4 star out of 5 now.
I gave it 2.5 because of the acting, like because the actors all did a great job. Outside of that, no, this is also if you're an anxious person, don't fucking watch this movie. This movie is all about making you fucking like giving you an anxiety attack. Like, don't watch this movie if you're a super anxious person. Also, I guess if you don't like sports betting and basketball, probably also won't like this movie.
All right, let's go to your movie. Casablanca is a 1942 American romantic drama film directed by Michael Curtis, starring Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman. Film set during World War II. It was focused on an American expatriate, Bogart, who must choose between his love for a woman and helping her husband, a Czechoslovakian resistance leader, escape from the Vichy-controlled city of Casablanca to continue his fight against the Germans. All right, some fun facts. Many of the actors who played Nazis were in fact European Jews who had fled Nazi occupation. How about that? Because the film was made during World War II, production was not allowed to film at an airport during after dark for security reasons. Instead, it was on a soundstage with a small cardboard cutout airplane and forced perspective to give the illusion of the plane. So, early special effects. First scene that Michael Curtis and company shot was the flashback scenes in Paris, which caused some problems for both Bogart. In his own words, I am not up on this love stuff, and I don't know just what to do. And for Ingrid, because as the script had yet to be finished, she didn't know whether her character was supposed to be in love with Rick or Laszlo. And finally, Bogart's then wife, actress Mayo Methot, continually accused him of having an affair with Bergman, often confronting him in his dressing room before scenes were shot. So,
All very interesting.
Hollywood drama. All right, so opening thoughts on Casablanca.
You have written something at the end of this movie when you're going to talk about it, and that's what I have to say. So we'll just wait until then, and we'll just kind of go through
the fact that this movie is just fine.
The fact that you gave it that it's just fine, and you gave it the same star rating. Spoilers, as the movie we just talked about, and that movie wishes it could like be in the same universe as Casablanca. Like, holy shit.
All right. See, the opening music makes Casablanca seem much more exotic, but we do get that world map look, which is, it's definitely a neat tune to open up on, even though most of this movie takes place in smoky nightclubs.
I thought the map was interesting just to see like how the countries and stuff were different. Like, you noticed it was Arabia, not Saudi Arabia, and you didn't have the like two countries that are underneath Saudi Arabia. That kind of stuff. I always find that very interesting to like see old world maps and stuff in movies and such.
I like how the premise of the film, with people being held up in Casablanca to flee the Nazis, pretty historically interesting there. Kind of a side story. You don't think about it quite as much as from the American perspective.
I think that's interesting because it's they're in French controlled. Oh shit! What's the country that Casablanca is in that I've all of a sudden forgotten?
Morocco.
Yeah, they're in French-controlled Morocco as opposed to just Morocco, and France is obvious at this point is 100% occupied by Germany. So it's very interesting that this is still like this is like free France, even though it's not France at all. Especially you think about like all of the imperialism and stuff from the I guess all the way back to say like the 1400s through the 1800s and early 1900s, where all of the countries in Europe are just like carving up the world and that kind of stuff. So I thought that was interesting.
Early bit of action as not having papers results in this guy getting gunned down in the street.
Well, more he didn't have papers and then pushed the guy and ran. Probably wouldn't have gotten gunned down if he had just went with them, but yes.
A little background information on Rick. We find out that he was involved in running guns in the Spanish Civil War, so he has he can have kind of a feisty past, but he kind of tries to keep his nose out of trouble these days. But does a lot of business dealing out throughout his through his nightclub. What'd you say?
Yeah, and he did the gun running, and he also did some stuff with like Ethiopia. And they never really say why at least that I recall, why he can't go back to America. They just say that he can't go back and that he did these other things. So
that was one of the fun facts that they never did come up with a reason.
Okay.
Yeah, it was left ambiguous. I mean, overall, it's a very solid-looking black and white movie. Very smoky noir look. I guess it's not technical. I guess since it's not as, I don't know, it feels so noir to me. It's strange not to think of it as a noir, but whatever.
Oh, it doesn't have a fucking like hardened private eye and an actual femme fatale. Like, yes, you have like the love story interest part of it, but their characters and stuff are so different from something like the Maltese Falcon or something like that. Like it's just a completely different style of movie.
But is it? Okay. Sam is constantly dealing business out of his club, like I mentioned, people wanting things from him, including the Blue Parrot owner who even wants to swipe his musical pal Sam from him. Good old Sam. Really jams out.
Sam.
Peter Lorre, it's cool to see him in this movie. Strange looking dude for sure. So I had to look back at the wiki to figure out what the deal with him was. So what he killed some Germans in order to get these documents, which Rick ends up with, and then
not just any documents. These are documents that let you get out of Casablanca and to Libsyn in Portugal, which is where basically everyone goes to Casablanca. So they show it, you go from like Paris to Marseille, then there's another stop, and then you end up in African mainland and either train or drive to French Morocco to Casablanca to try to get papers to get to Libsyn. And so these documents that are stolen are basically irrefutably, they cannot be turned away as entrance documents to Libsyn. Or exit documents from Casablanca, the way that it is written. And so, yes, this gentleman kills those two guys and is trying to sell them.
Sam makes it clear he doesn't stick his neck out for anyone, and
Rick makes him.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sam's the piano player. He don't care. The Nazis don't want this guy Laszlo to leave, but turns out he is married to Rick's old sweetheart from Paris.
He has also escaped from a concentration camp and multiple other assassination attempts. So yeah, they really want him, but as though he's no longer in German occupied territory, they can't just like take him. So they're basically trying to strong arm the local police prefect into doing their dirty work.
And so Laszlo and what's the girlfriend's name?
Oh shit! What is Ingrid Bergman's name? Ilsa.
All right, so yeah, Laszlo and Ilsa show up in Rick's place, his American nightclub deal, and all the gin joints, and you came in on mine. That line. So let's see. As time goes by, is the main song with those two, their connection. So she gets Sam to play it. Catches Rick's attention right away since he's banned that song because of the bad memory of her leaving him. But we'll find out about that soon in a flashback. Classic bogey lines like "Here's looking at you, kid," all the gin joints, and those closing ones in the airport, which I guess I'll give you the honor of maybe mentioning later. They flash back to Paris to watch them fall in love. The Nazis storm into Paris, and then I'm sure you probably want to talk about this, so go ahead.
Yeah, so well, first of all, I think it was very interesting since this is a black and white movie, and she talks about her blue dress and the Germans wearing gray, and then how she's retired the blue dress. So I think it's always interesting when they like mention color, even though there was no color in the movie. Just something that I found interesting. Probably no one else does, but I do. And then so yeah, she doesn't show up at the train station, and Sam's like, "Come on, Mr. Rick, we got to go." And he has a note, and it says, I can't tell you why, but I hope you understand I do love you, or something to that effect. And he crumples it up and throws it off the train as they're, just soaking wet, leaving on the train out of Paris. And she's been the one like, "Hey, you got to go, you got to go." Like they've got your dossier, they know what you did in Spain. So they're gonna come lock you up and put you in a camp. I know we found out later, what exactly happened, but
Yep, with
yeah.
her finding it because she had thought her husband was dead, but then found out he was alive. So then she went to his aid immediately,
Yeah, so
leaving
they
Rick.
and what's one of the things that they do that some of the characters have talked about throughout the movie is that that Laszlo was thought to be dead multiple times. Like they thought he had died. It was false reports. Some of it was like German propaganda. Some of it was just oh, he's dead. No, he's not really dead, kind of thing. And so she finds out that he's alive, and she goes to him, and obviously she's gonna pick her husband, kind of deal. So now that she knows he's alive, yeah.
Get a kick out of there's a scene of them together, and there's this funny haggler who's like trying to like hawk this merchandise that they have no interest in whatsoever. Let's see. This young woman is worried about this deal that she made with her visa. So Rick ends up helping her rig a game of craps in order to ensure she gets the money in order to get out of Casablanca.
And to get out of sleeping with the police chief, because I'm pretty sure that was the deal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was, what if a lady does something that's not, I don't remember how she worded it, but it was heavily implied, especially by the way the police commissioner or prefect, I think is what he's called, where he's like, "Well, I'll have a blonde one tomorrow and don't you interfere," kind of thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
Thanks for clarifying that. See, singing rivalry in the bar between the Germans and the French is pretty awesome moment, especially for that period of time, just after World War II.
Just during World War II, you mean?
Well, it was like it ended what the following year, 43, or
In 45?
really that late? Oh gosh, I'm
Yes.
way off on my dates then.
Yes, the World War II ended in 1945. I think Germany might have been done at the end of 44, the beginning of 45, and then we still had the Pacific Front, where we dropped that A-bomb on Japan, or the A-bombs on Japan.
Yeah, pretty remarkable how they were able to make all these movies during World War II to reflect the era. There's some Hitchcock films and stuff as well that really reflect this period. Rick finds out that she kept her husband's secret since he was in a concentration camp. We mentioned that already. Rick makes her think that they will run off together, but instead he sends her away with Laszlo after tricking the authorities and then making sure they are able to get away safely at gunpoint, both with holding up the cop and then killing the Nazi that shows up. I'm sure you want to jump in here.
Yeah, the actual Nazi, like, I guess the head of the Gestapo, or the one that they sent there. So when Rick kind of pulls the whole he pulls the gun on the prefect or the police prefect, who's kind of his buddy, but he pulls the gun on him and says like, "Hey," and they end up at the airport, but he calls and alerts the German guy, and the German guy shows up. Rick ends up shooting him, and this is one of the funniest parts. He's like, the guy from the Gestapo has been shot. Round up all the usual suspects. As Bogey's just sitting there holding the gun. I was like, that's great. Corruption for good, I guess. But yeah, Bogey tells Isla, I guess, that, you know, she doesn't get on the plane with her husband, she'll regret it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon and for the rest of your life. Tells them they'll always have Paris. And, you know, she gets on the plane and leaves with her husband, with Laszlo. And then Bogey walks off with his cop buddy and talking about how he is compassionate. Now he's back in the game on the side of the rebellion and all that cool stuff.
Alrighty. Well, I find this to be a very watchable classic with timeless lines. I just not really on board with the being on the greatest of all time list. I mean, it's a pretty decent, you know, older film. I know you definitely have a soft spot for these, but it's not really my thing. But I enjoy the historical importance, you know, the classic scenes, and the cast does a lot as well. So 4 stars.
I mean, I think Bogey alone, like he commands you to pay attention to him. Like he just holds the screen. And I get that movies were made different back then, and that is part of one of the things I like, is how the movies and stuff were made back then, and they're just made so different than the stuff I grew up watching or the stuff that you see now. But like, boy howdy. Yeah, I think it's an all-time classic. I actually have went on record before saying it, and I will go and say it again. While it is not my favorite movie, it might actually be the actual greatest movie. At least the greatest American movie. Like, I think it's better than oh shit, what's the movie with the fucking bobsled and
Citizen Kane? That's that's a much better movie.
While I agree that Citizen Kane took a lot of and came up with a lot of things that are still used in the film today, I do not think it is a better movie. I think it is a very great movie, and I wouldn't say that it's like, oh my god, it's so much worse than Casablanca, but I do think Casablanca is a better movie. And like, I think that if you're also, especially if you're going to take someone and introduce them to classic Americana movies, old Hollywood movies, you're much more likely to get them to be interested and stay interested in them if you show them Casablanca. If you show them Citizen Kane, they will probably be fucking bored, because a lot of people think that movie is boring. And I think if you show them that first, that's what they're going to think. And if they're not a movie head, they're not going to appreciate all the technical shit. And they're just going to be like, nah, I don't want to watch any more classic movies.
Okay, well, if we're talking about something that's more, you know, approachable, sure. Okay.
I mean, I think to me, and I feel like a lot of people, and I'm not necessarily saying you, because I'm not sure, but I know a lot of people, they'll take it, they won't take in watchability or enjoyment of a movie. Like, movies are made, almost every movie is made to be enjoyable. So if a movie is not enjoyable, like if two movies are technically the same and one is more enjoyable, how is that one not better than the one that's not enjoyable? And I understand that enjoyability is subjective.
Varies, yes.
Yes.
I mean, I can enjoy the torture of a Von Trier film sometimes, so you never know.
So yes, but like, I don't. And so I just like, and it's not the like physical torture. Like, fine, I can watch torture porn. That's not a big deal. Those movies are torturous because Lars von Trier is a fucking hack. But that's neither here nor there. Anywho,
what's next?
I'm sure. Oh no, what's next for you, sir?
Well, I've been thinking about this one for a while, so I want to talk about Eyes Wide Shut with you.
Okay, that is a movie I have not seen since I was in high school. Probably watched it on like HBO or something and was just like, ooh, titties, and was good enough with it. Back when I didn't really know who directors and shit were, so I didn't know that it was
Kubrick.
Kubrick. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna have an interesting one here. It's a movie I haven't seen in many many years at this point, and it was actually pretty critically acclaimed. Actually, The Wrestler,
Oh, okay. Yeah, the from
Darren
Aronofsky.
Aronofsky. Yep.
Been too long since I've watched one of his movies. Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah,
Uh,
and so The Wrestler, I actually wasn't like I watched it because I like wrestling. I was not a super huge fan of it. Like I don't remember hating it, but I was just kind of like, oh, this is a movie. So I would like to check it out now, having many many more movies.
oh yeah,
Um,
it's a great character piece.
yeah.
Yeah, this would be good.
Also, I just forgot and just remembered. So I watched when I watched Casablanca for this cast, it was 7 years to the day that I watched it the first time.
Oh
When I
neat.
was almost at 1,000 movies, it was at like 990 something, and now I'm in the 1900s. So I just watch it around 900 and something every 900 and something movies.
Damn, quite the record. All right, so very cool. Well, if you'd like to get in touch with the show, Average Joe's Movie Clubcast gmail.com. Joey, why do we do this show?
Because me and you love talking about movies, and I mean, we like always agree. We would never disagree on
Oh my
anything.
gosh, he bitches so much about the simplest things.
And you praise the dumbest things.
Touche. Night.